Welcome to the International News Channel, News LD. Today we present to you a news entitled,
European leaders criticize Emmanuel Macron's unfortunate expression on the United States. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki in Washington, Thursday, April 13. Olivier Dulier/AFP President Emmanuel Macron's journey to Beijing was presupposed to reveal European unity in the face of China and persuade President Xi Jinping to assist curb Russian aggression towards Ukraine. However, it's going to have above all aggravated France's allies. Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki on Thursday 13 April deplored the angle's short-sighted Europeans on China, in a transparent allusion to Emmanuel Macron's go-to, "They're trying, short-sighted, to China to allow them to promote European merchandise at monumental geopolitical price, growing our dependence on China relatively than decreasing it," he stated throughout a speech in Washington. "You cannot defend Ukraine as we speak and tomorrow by saying that Taiwan is none of your small business," he added to the Atlantic Council analysis Hart, paraphrasing the French president without naming him. "I imagine, God forbid, that if Ukraine falls, if Ukraine is conquered, the subsequent day China can assault Taiwan," he stated. The Polish chief additionally mocked the Europeans' idea of strategic autonomy, once more in an allusion to Mr. Macron's statements. "European autonomy, that is stylish, is not it? However, which means altering the European heart of gravity in the direction of China and severing ties with the United States," he stated. "I am unable to actually perceive the idea of strategic autonomy if which means, de facto, capturing yourself in the foot," he stated, talking of a dramatic error. The expression thought about sad in Germany. The French president sparked a wave of bewilderment in the United States and Europe by calling on the European Union to not be follower from Washington or Beijing on the query of Taiwan. "The worst factor can be to suppose that we Europeans ought to be followers on the challenge of Taiwan and adapt to the American rhythm and a Chinese language overreaction," he stated in an interview with the American website Politico and the French financial Each Day. The Echoes revealed on Sunday. On Wednesday, Mr. Macron repeated that to be an ally, the United States, doesn't imply being a vassal. "It isn't as a result of we're allies, that we not have the proper to suppose for ourselves," he added at a press convention in Amsterdam. A brand new sentence that the German Minister of Protection, Boris Pistorius, visiting Mali, judged sad. "We have now by no means been in peril of being or turning into a vassal of the United States," commented Mr. Pistorius. "We should in future have the ability to converse as a European Union by way of international coverage, and in addition by way of safety coverage," added Mr. Pistorius, a member of the Social Democratic Social Gathering, SPD. "Nevertheless, discovering our personal positions in settlement with the United States is our obligation," he stated. "It doesn't assist us to be divided or let ourselves be divided on totally different positions. In the finish, it solely helps Chinese language international coverage," concluded Boris Pistorius. This good friend of Chancellor Olaf Scholz is the first member of the German authorities to talk publicly about the remarks of the French head of state which have induced bother amongst France's allies. Learn additionally, article reserved for our subscribers after Emmanuel Macron's remarks, European cacophony towards China. In its wake, the head of German diplomacy, Annalena Baerbock, assured Thursday that European states had been united of their coverage vis-à-vis Beijing. "We do not simply have a typical place, however once we share a typical market, we cannot have totally different positions vis-à-vis the EU's largest buying and selling accomplice," stated M.Me Baerbock at a press briefing in Tianjin, the place the minister arrived on Thursday for her first journey to China. The European Union disagrees. Lithuanian International Minister Gabrielius Landsbergis was notably scathing. "I suggest that we acknowledge the advantages and the want for transatlantic unity, as an alternative beg from the dictators that they assist to make sure peace in Europe," he reacted on Twitter. Japanese European international locations have historically hooked up themselves to an in-depth relationship with Washington, which they see as their predominant assure of safety in the face of the Russian risk. Prime Minister Mark Rutte kept away from criticizing his visitor, however confused that the United States was indispensable and without their assist, it will have been inconceivable that Ukraine might resist to Russia. Take a look at your normal data with the writing of the world uncover. In Brussels, there are regrets that Mr. Macron's feedback overshadowed efforts by European FI President Ursula von der Leyen to coordinate the EU's place on China. Earlier than accompanying Mr. Macron throughout his go-to Beijing, Mr. von der Leyen gave a well-received speech on the want for the EU to cut back threat created by its dependence on China, without none less decouple of its enormous market. The President of the European Council, Charles Michel, appeared to come back to the assist of the French President. There's a nice attachment to the alliance with the United States, and Emmanuel Macron stated nothing else he identified. However, would this alliance indicate that we systematically blindly observe the place of the United States on all topics? No, he hammered. Learn additionally. Article reserved for our subscribers. China will proceed to roll out the purple carpet to France and different European international locations it perceives as helpful Westerners.